G'day there guys, it's Connie here again. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. We're back with some more stories from Reddit, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's get into it. Okie dokie folks, this one was posted on relationships. It was written by a throwaway account, and it's titled, My Atheist Boyfriend Burped Loudly During Grace. So, I've been dating Kevin for a couple months now. I was raised Christian, and while I very much believe in God, I wouldn't consider myself super religious or anything. I go to church maybe 10 times a year. Because of that, I thought I might be compatible with an atheist. So anyway, on Sunday, Kevin and I went to my parents for dinner. It was their first time meeting him. I thought things were going well until we sat down to eat, and my dad starts saying grace. I was looking down, but out of the corner of my eye, I see Kevin grab his drink and he chugs it. Once he's done chugging, my dad is still saying grace this entire time, mind you, he lets out this really loud, open-mouth burp. My dad stopped saying grace to look at Kevin. My dad's mouth was hanging wide open but didn't say anything. Kevin doesn't say excuse me or anything, so my dad awkwardly finishes saying grace. The dinner itself is painfully awkward. No one acknowledges what happened, but my parents seem pretty annoyed with Kevin, so they make small talk about the weather, what he's taking in school, etc. After we finish eating, I make up an excuse for us to leave and I drive Kevin home. On the way home, I ask Kevin what his problem is and why he was so rude during dinner. At first, he doesn't seem to know what I was talking about. I say it's rude to drink during grace, never mind burping as loud as you can afterwards. He says he's an atheist, so he doesn't have to wait for that kind of thing. I say that's ridiculous as he was still a guest in my parents' home and he should follow their rules. Then he goes off saying those rules are bullcrap and he keeps going on about how religion is the worst thing ever. By the time I drop him off, I'm pretty ticked and want nothing to do with him. I haven't talked to him since, but breaking up with him is a given. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because one of the things he said to me was why was I dating an atheist if I expected him to act religious? I didn't think simply not eating or drinking until after grace was acting religious, but now I'm questioning that. I know Reddit is very pro-atheist, so I want to get opinions from other atheists. I've never dated one before Kevin, so I don't know. He says any self-respecting atheist would do the same he did. Is that true? Or is he just an a-hole? My cousin had warned me about dating an atheist, but considering I don't take religion too seriously, I didn't think it would be an issue. Maybe I was wrong, and I'm not compatible. No, I think Opie said it in that last paragraph. He is just an a-hole. Him saying that any self-respecting atheist would do the same he did is crazy. Honestly, he's lucky he didn't get punched in the mouth. He deserves it, that's for sure. Let's go to the comments. Kevin didn't behave that way because he's an atheist. He behaved that way because he's a rude little crap. Quote, he says any self-respecting atheist would do the same he did. No, they wouldn't. He did it to get a rise and act somehow superior. Kevin is an idiot. Source, atheist that has sat through many prayers, graces and weird spiritual moments other people have. I keep my mouth shut and usually just think about food or what beer I want, or sometimes cool movies. Opie says, thanks, I know you're right, but Kevin has this way of talking that makes it seem like everything he says is correct, and I guess it made me doubt myself. Please give us an update after you've kicked that turd to the curb. He has a lot of growing up to do. I can't imagine how awful you must have felt in that moment. Thankfully, it's only been a few months. She replies, not much of an update, but reading the comments made me realize just how much of an a-hole he is. I started to think about past times where he refused to think he was wrong. He's very arrogant. I don't know why I didn't realize that until now. I was already planning on breaking up with him, so I sent him a text a little while ago saying it's over. His response was, whatever. Thank you everyone for your responses. You are absolutely right that this is a matter of Kevin being a jerk, nothing about atheists. Show Kevin the comments on this post. Not worth of my time, to be honest. I'm done with him. He'll have to figure out just how arrogant he is on his own. Okay, now for an update, 6 weeks later. First of all, I want to thank everyone that responded to that post I made. I got a lot more responses than I thought I would, and that really made me see how in the wrong Kevin was. Kevin and I broke up right after that incident. It made me realize a lot of things about our relationship that I guess I wasn't seeing clearly before. He really was arrogant and manipulative. He had this way of saying things that made it sound like he was right 100% of the time, and that anything I said was stupid. It wasn't until after I read all the comments that overwhelmingly said he was in the wrong that I realized just how manipulative he was. Maybe I should mention that Kevin was really hot. Like really hot, so maybe that's why I didn't realize how much of an ass he was until way later, lol. Anyway, so this isn't much of an update as to our relationship. It's a funny story I heard. I've been working a summer job for the past while now in my hometown where both Kevin and I live. It's not a tiny town where everyone knows each other, but it's not huge either. Anyway, at work, I was talking with some of my co-workers on break, and the conversation of terrible exes came up. The story that my one co-worker decided to share was about, you guessed it, Kevin. Apparently, they dated about a year ago. My co-worker, let's call her Brenda, had to go to her cousin's wedding, and Kevin was her plus one. During the ceremony, Kevin got really bored, and he decided to let everyone know. Apparently, he started saying stuff like, "Oh my god, this is taking so long," and "Is it almost over yet?" And he kept going on and on. He wasn't so loud that everyone could hear him, but the people around him definitely could. Brenda said a lot of people were turning their heads to look at them. She was super embarrassed. Apparently, they got in a huge fight between the ceremony and reception, and that was the end of their relationship. Lol, I couldn't help but laugh when I heard that story. Sounds exactly like something Kevin would do. Anyway, that's it for my update. Things are going well for me. I'm currently enjoying single life, just working and hanging out with friends. One of the things that Kevin said that really bothered me was that religion never does anything good. That really bothered me, so I started volunteering with a charity that my church helps run once a week, just organising stuff that's been donated. Maybe I'll let him get to me, but it feels good to help out. I don't hold anything against atheists. You guys totally convinced me that the problem was Kevin, and that many atheists are cool, so thank you for that. One comment asks, what was your family's response to the dumping? I guess I shouldn't have left that part out. My parents were shocked by his behaviour. Apparently they spent a long time talking about whether they should bring it up with me. They are both very non-confrontational type people, and they always said they would try not to pass judgment on who I date. But Kevin was just too much for them, and they were planning on telling me what they thought of him. Fortunately for my parents, by the next time I talked to them we'd already broken up, haha, so they were definitely relieved. Brenda told us about Kevin being a jerk at a wedding. And then you told them about Kevin belching during grace, right? Tell me you didn't hold out such a great story while everyone else was already laughing at him. She says, I definitely did not pass on the opportunity to share that story. Yeah, at least she's got a good story out of it, and good riddance to that prick. This guy's just a dickhead. His atheism has nothing to do with it. It's really not that hard to sit still for 20 seconds and show a little bit of respect. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, that's it for that story, and we'll move on to the next one. Okay, going over to Am I the A-hole? This one was written by user Traditional Hour, and it's titled, Am I the a-hole for going behind my wife's back and telling her pregnant sister that she's being cheated on? I've been married to my wife for 3 years. I'm 27, she's 26, my sister-in-law is 30, and my POS brother-in-law is 31. I always had a close relationship with my sister-in-law. We are friends. Also has a decent connection between my brother-in-law. Not that close, but we often talk and get along. My wife and her sister didn't get along as much as you would expect from siblings. It wasn't just normal sibling rivalry, but constant fights and arguments. Anyway, 3 weeks ago when I was having dinner with my friends, I saw my brother-in-law with another woman. They were just eating. I didn't think much of it. I wanted to go and greet him, but I kept talking to my friends. After a while, I saw that he gave a light kiss to this woman, and I was so shocked. I decided to not confront him, and when I got back to my home, I told my wife everything. I told her that her sister is getting cheated on, and we need to tell her. My wife said we should talk to my brother-in-law instead of telling her sister, and we should not break their marriage because her sister is pregnant. I was like, WTF? So what if she's pregnant? Her husband is a cheat. I tried to convince my wife multiple times that we should tell her sister the truth. I told her that I know you guys don't get along, but she's still your sister, and this isn't right. But she asked me to stay out of it. I tried my best to convince my wife, but she either ignored me or said we shouldn't break their marriage. I had enough of her, and yesterday I told her that I'm coming clean to my sister-in-law. She and I have a great bond, and I can't and won't betray her. My wife said if I tell her the truth, she will not talk to me. I replied that I won't talk to you either if you don't want to do what's right. Today, I told my sister-in-law the truth. I went to her place and told her everything. She was doubtful and she asked me to leave. After a few hours, my sister-in-law called me and she was crying and said what I said was the truth and she shouldn't have doubted me and kicked me. She said she's leaving. I asked her, where would you go? Do you have money? She said she does, but not that much. I wired her a bit and she said she could call me if she needs help, and she thanked me and said she would only use the money I sent if it's necessary, otherwise she will return. My brother-in-law called my wife, and well, my wife lashed onto me and said I ruined her family and her sister's life. I said I thought the moment we got married, your family is mine and my family is yours. Anyway, why the F are you defending that POS so much? What about your sister? She didn't reply to me and she's not talking to me either. I tried to talk to her and convince her that it was the right thing to do, but she wouldn't talk to me, so I said fine, stay angry, and if you want to divorce me then go ahead. I think I've nuked my marriage. Do not know if what I did was truly right. Now, without a doubt what OP did was the right thing to do. Seems weird that the wife is reacting this way. Makes you think that maybe she's got something to hide. Let's go to the comments. Sounds like your wife supports cheaters and that should be worrying to you, not the a-hole. Opie says, I thought about it and I am concerned about it, but I somewhat think she just asked me to not tell her because my sister-in-law is pregnant and it will cause her more stress. That's just what I think, but the truth is, if I hide it and support my wife, I'm in the wrong. If I tell her the truth after she gives birth, then still I am wrong. If I hide it forever, then I'm still wrong. Like, what am I supposed to do? Cover up for the betrayer and not help my family? Even my wife is angry at me and probably will lose her if I haven't already lost her. Not the a-hole. If I were you, I would sleep with one eye open. Your wife has no moral standards. He replies, I truly have been thinking about this, that she might just be... But I love and trust my wife, and I was thinking she wanted me to not tell her because my sister-in-law is pregnant, and women knows how stressful pregnancy and after pregnancy is, and she might have thought that she needs support from her husband. I don't know, nothing here makes sense to me. There was nothing for me to suspect of her cheating on me. I'm surprised your wife wouldn't tell her sister. So am I. What I think is that no matter how strained both sisters' relationships is, at least a sibling would have the back of their sibling, especially when they're pregnant. But she didn't even try to help her sister and be angry at me. I'm like, WTF? Is this really the woman I got married to? Now for an update 4 days later. It's been a few days since I told my wife's sister that her husband is a cheat. Just to clarify to all the weirdos, no, I'm not in love with my sister-in-law. I don't have any inappropriate relations or feelings for her. I respect her, and she's family. In any case, yesterday I asked my wife why she's so ticked and wanted me to not reveal the truth to her sister. I know you guys hate each other, but you guys are siblings. My wife said it's not our place to interfere. I asked, are you okay with her sister being cheated on? She said she isn't, but it will and has ruined their marriage because of my stupidity. She's pregnant and the child needs his father, and so does the wife. I was so shocked when she said this, like, WTF? I asked her, if I were to cheat on you, would you forgive me? She said yes. I also asked her if she ever cheats on me, would she hide it from me, and she also said yes to that. I was so shocked. I asked her if she knows what she's saying. She said yes, and she's confident. Just because you had sex with someone else doesn't mean everyone else has to suffer and break the family. I had no words to say. I told her that I also sent my sister-in-law money. She started screaming at me and said I shouldn't have helped her, despite knowing she doesn't like her sister. I said if that's what she thinks, then it's better if we just divorce. She got angry and screamed fine and started packing her bag. I tried my best to stop her from leaving. I told her that I love her and I just did what I felt was right. Nobody has to suffer betrayal like this. She said it wasn't the right time. I asked her, so when should we tell her the truth? After she gives birth? Because it will worsen her PPD. Or years after she gives birth? She will just blame us. She said we should have just kept it quiet and left it alone. I tried so hard to stop her, but she didn't listen to me and left. I tried to contact her and her parents, her friends, but they don't know where she is and instead started interrogating me and saying I'm her husband and I should have taken care of her and I should know where she is. I even visited my brother-in-law to confirm my suspicions, but I didn't see her car or her belongings anywhere. I hate that I'm being blamed for just revealing the truth, and my wife leaving me right away without a second thought. I was so damn pissed, so today I called my sister-in-law and told her that she can stay at my place because I'm going to my parents, and my wife left and nobody knows where she is. She told me she'll try talking to her parents, but after a while she called me and said that their parents don't know where she is. I told her to think about herself and come over and stay here, instead of blowing up her money. Now I'm at my parents, and my sister-in-law is in our home. Maybe I was being petty, but I hate that my wife gave up on me and left without a second thought. I don't know whether she's cheating or cheated, or if she would truly cheat on me and her own blood sister with a family relative over feuds. One thing is for sure though, I cannot trust my wife anymore. She hurt me. Wow, yeah, the way that she said that she would keep it a secret if she did cheat on him, I think that tells you all you need to know. One comment says, Opie should not have gone behind his wife's back to tell his sister-in-law about the affair. He replies, yes, I did. I went behind her back. I tried so hard not to, but she is covering up for a cheater, and she wouldn't even spare her own sister. I love my wife, and I mean it, but that doesn't mean I'll give up on my own morals and my own self-worth just to please the woman I love. I consider my wife's family as my own. Why did she try to stop me though? Why am I the bad guy in her eyes? Is it just as easy to say none of our business and forget about everything else? I'm sorry, OP. The way your wife speaks on the subject of cheating is concerning, especially that she would hide it from you. If I were in your shoes, I wouldn't be able to trust her either. How she doesn't look at cheating on your significant other as a huge deal breaker is beyond me. Some couples can forgive and move past it, but not all. The baby's father can still be in his or her life. I'm sorry you're hurting and going through this. Hugs. Opie replies, yeah, I feel like she isn't even the woman I married. She's like a completely different person. Maybe the comments about I married the wrong sister were right, haha. In any case, I loved her, and I still do, and will do so for the foreseeable future, so I'll just back out of the relationship and dating scene, and even I don't trust my wife at this point. Not the a-hole, your wife is a weirdo. I think it's more that she hates her sister than she's worried about her baby. If she were worried, why would she be angry at you for helping your sister-in-law? I do worry though that you might have endangered her by leaving her alone in your house. If your wife returns and sees her there, she might get hurt. She also will probably cheat on you if she hasn't already. I would proceed with the divorce. Okay, another update, 12 days later. Many people asked me for an update, and I also do need some outsider's perspective of my situation, so here it goes. But before, I just want to clarify and ask to people who kept calling me names for telling my sister-in-law the truth. Why do you guys keep telling me to mind my own business? She's family, and if families don't look out for each other and help, then who else will? Strangers? And it's not just some harmless, small lie from my brother-in-law. It's life-changing. My sister-in-law isn't just my sister-in-law. She's my friend. If I didn't tell her the truth now, then my POS brother-in-law would have just kept cheating, and I would lose a friend if I delayed. Anyway, coming back to the update. My sister-in-law only stayed at my place for 2 days. After then, she called me and said she can't trouble me anymore, and she's going to live in a hotel. I tried to convince her to not blow up her money unnecessarily, but she didn't listen and left anyway. And yes, I am divorcing my wife. After a week of no contact, she called me and said she wants to reconcile. She said she was angry that I didn't listen to her and went behind her back. She said she didn't want to break her sister's family, so she wanted to hide it and convince my brother-in-law to not cheat, but I messed it all up and she's coming back. I just asked her to come back because I wanted to talk to her, and it's not something you discuss over calls. Once my wife arrived and started to explain herself, I told her I'm filing. She was pretty shocked. She said we can make it work. I told her we can't. I don't trust you after everything you said, and you just left me with no contact, and you show up suddenly while I was worried all day about where my wife is or if she's safe, etc. I can't make it work. She tried convincing me to not divorce, but I'd already made my intentions clear. I told her that her sister stayed at our place for 2 days, and she got angry and said, "Fine, let's divorce," and left. I told my sister-in-law that I'm getting a divorce. She wasn't happy about it, but she didn't try to convince me in or out of it. I told her that she can stay with me instead of a hotel. She said it's inappropriate. I said either you blow up your money and struggle or she can accept my help. So my sister-in-law and I have been living together for the past couple of days, and we discussed about our spouses and their behaviour. We both got pretty angry about this all. My sister-in-law got even more angry than I was, and she ended up calling my wife and called her names, and she told me she's hell-bent on ruining my brother-in-law. She's divorcing him and will go nuclear on him and ask for as much money as alimony and child support. She wants to drain him. My wife and I didn't talk to each other after she left, and we both know that we're divorcing. My sister-in-law, though angry, she calmed down, because it's unhealthy for her and her baby, and she started focusing on career and reads stories about single mums. She's preparing herself. So yeah, that's all. And weirdos, stay away. Neither my sister-in-law nor I have any feelings between each other. I'm just helping her, and she wasn't feeling good about it. That's why she was hesitating so much. Call me a moral police, but I know I did the right thing. Not just for my sister-in-law, but for me as well. I now know what kind of woman my wife is. One comment says, "I'm so sorry you're having to go through with this. Not the a-hole, but please get support from whoever you can, and continue providing support to your sister-in-law. Wishing you the best going forward." He replies, "Thanks, I got my parents' support, but they won't pick sides. After all, we both are their children, and we are fighting, which is understandable. My mum calls me every day, at least thrice, to check up on me. Me and my sister-in-law support each other and talk a lot. I'm in pain, but her pain is unimaginable. She's pregnant and found out her baby's father is a cheat, also low on money and ashamed to seek help. Guess she's no longer my sister-in-law, but my friend. I'll try my best to support her, but even though she's in so much pain, she's thinking about herself and her child. Women are truly strong, especially when they're pregnant indeed." Did your wife ever tell you where she went? I find it interesting that she has a place where she can just go for an extended period of time and nobody knows where she went to. Opie replies, "I don't and I don't care. I had mixed feelings. I love my wife and tried to stop her from leaving, tried to convince her, but she left anyway, while I was worried all day, every day, about my wife. I was so worried as to where my wife is. Is she safe? Has she eaten? But she never contacted me after she left, and her family didn't know about where she was. But no matter how much I love her, it's better if I just divorce. I've lost all my trust in her. Not just that she wanted to hide my brother-in-law's cheating, she even said she would expect me to forgive her for cheating, and she would forgive me if I cheated. I don't want that. None of this. Besides, if a pregnant woman can go so far putting her emotions aside and think for herself, then I also should cut out toxicity and restart my life instead of worrying. She kinda inspired me." And now for a new update. A month later. I've made 3 posts prior to this one, and I know nobody wants to go through all of that, but I never thought celebrating Christmas with my sister-in-law would cause this much drama, so I'll drop a TLDR. I found out that my brother-in-law was cheating on my sister-in-law, my soon-to-be ex-wife's sister. When I told my then-wife, she told me to stay quiet. I didn't. I went ahead and told my sister-in-law. My then-wife's reasoning was that we shouldn't interfere in their marriage as it doesn't concern us. I was angry that she would defend cheating. When I asked her if she would forgive me if I cheated, she said she would, because it's just sex. After a huge fight, she left and disappeared for a week. When she came back, I told her that I'm filing, and currently we're going through divorce process. So me and my soon-to-be ex are going through legal proceedings, and we're going to get divorced 100%, because I can't trust someone who defends cheaters, especially someone who defends a cheater who cheats on her own sister. Yes, their sister relationship was screwed, but still, it's wrong for me and for my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law is going through divorce process as well, as she's aggressively seeking child support and alimony. So on Christmas, I invited my sister-in-law to celebrate with me. I'd already been supporting her financially, and we got closer and became friends, because we both were betrayed by our partners. We would talk, we would vent, and get angry so much. My sister and I celebrated Christmas with children from both of our family, like nephews and nieces, and even their friends joined us for a while. We kinda went overboard and showered them with gifts. But my soon-to-be ex got to know about it, and she told everyone in my and her family that it's us that were cheating, and now I'm trying to get married to her sister, which is why I'm divorcing her. Most of our families didn't believe her, except some of hers and mine. They said I am a cheat, and I shouldn't be celebrating with my sister-in-law, because she's my ex-sister-in-law, because I'm divorcing my wife, and I should be spending time with my wife instead of divorcing her. She did not wrong me. I tried to tell them that her defending cheaters is so stupid, and I and my ex-sister-in-law are friends, and we celebrated with children, and she herself is pregnant, and I was just supporting her, and she also supports me because we're going through so much. But they kept saying that I should take my wife back and do good by her, and spending time with my soon-to-be ex-sister-in-law is not good, and we are and were cheating. So, am I the a-hole for celebrating Christmas with her and children from our family? They didn't stay for a long time, but after they left, me and my sister-in-law did spend a long time together, but it was just us drinking and talking about the future and what we should do about our partners, and we just vent to each other. Wow, honestly, I wouldn't blame Opie for distancing himself from this family. They all sound like a bunch of cheating apologists. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, that's it from me today, guys. Hope you enjoyed those stories. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day. Cheers.